Hello, friends, and happy Straturday. Psyberry here with another Darkest Dungeon How to Use guide. Briefly, before I snap to it, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this guide with a friend. The channel is still aiming for more than 1,000 subscribers, and you are a huge part of that, so toss the channel a sub and enjoy the video. Alright, let's do this. Today we are going to take a deep dive into how to play the Owlwing. The Owlwing was released May 24th of 2021, and last updated June 20th of 2021. His canon name is Thomas, which is totally not a reference to Batman's father. Totally not a reference. It's fine. But anyway, let's go to the credits real quick. 54NBB did the animations, the concept, and the gameplay. Refined Turtle Flesh and Metal Guy did the art. Cat did the writing, and Sasiji did the scripting, and Retail did the sound effects. So let's just dive right in. Let's look at the base stats and see what we've got to work with here. The max HP for the Owlwing is a 23 at first resolve, and it progresses to a 42 at 5th resolve. This will go up by 5 between every level, except for when you're going from 4th level to 5th. This will only go up 4 HP. This is what I would consider as close to average HP as you can get in Darkest Dungeon. This is the Highwayman, basically, aside from that last level of resolve. The difference at high level between them is going to be 1 HP, so it's not even that different. But overall, he's chunky enough, he's not fragile enough to be concerning. The dodge is going to start at a 10 at first resolve and move to a 30 at final resolve. So this is the typical above average dodge track, the same you would see with a grave robber or an occultist. The only one really beating him in the dodge category is the jester, so nothing to be concerned with, and if you want to really crank some dodge stat into this guy, he will appreciate it. The prot is 0 as you would expect. The speed is going to start at a 5 at first resolve, and at 3rd resolve it will progress to a 6, and at final 5th resolve it will progress to a 7. So the speed here, I would consider this good, the mark of a good speed. It's going to be the same speed progression as a bounty hunter or a highwayman, and it's definitely enough, and it's a good number to work with, especially if you want to speed fix and get other people to combo with him by them going first or him going first. It's a good speed for that. The accuracy mod is a 0 as you would expect. Crit is going to start at a 5% and move to a 9% at final resolve. This is high on the crit list, second highest in the game. You're going to be tied for getting crits with the Hellion and the Highwayman. Only really beat out by things like Shieldbreaker, who gets a shit ton of crits, and the Occultist, who's in that same boat. Finally here, we're going to look at the damage. I have minus 10% for a quirk, but we'll try not to let that go. And actually, at the first level resolve, it will be, in fact, 5 to 8 damage. And at final resolve, this moves to an 8 to 14. This is a little bit harder to classify, but it is very comparable damage-wise the whole way up to Arbalist or Grave Robber damage. Except for the minimum damage is a little bit higher with the Owlwing than you would expect with those other classes. So it's very similar to backline damage, but you're actually getting a little more reliability out of that low-end damage than you would with a typical backliner. So I consider this directly in between them kind of what I would call good damage. So let's jump straight into the combat skills and see what we've really got to work with in the toolkit here. The first combat skill is Smoke Bomb. This is usable from rank 1 or 2 and hits rank 1 and 2 opponents. It's a ranged attack. This will move the Owlwing back 1 rank. This has an accuracy base of 80, a damage modifier of negative 100%, and does not have a crit mod. This is going to stealth the Owlwing. It's going to clear any mark that the Owlwing might have, and it will give a bonus of 10% crit while stealthed to the Owlwing. This is actually going to go up pretty significantly by level 5 to be a plus 30% crit while stealthed. So this is a really good setup move if you want to do a lot of crit damage with the Owlwing, and it's also a good way to keep him safe. So if you want to use stealth in your kit, this is not a bad way to do it. Keep in mind this final line though, cooldown 4 rounds. You will not be able to use this unless your battle stretches on for a while, and you're only going to get 2 bonus rounds of stealth. If you want to use something like this, there are some trinkets out and available that will give you a chance to stealth yourself, which might be useful to supplant the tail end of combats. But otherwise, not a bad move. The second combat skill is Fist Fight. It is usable from rank 1 or 2, and can target rank 1, 2, or 3 enemies. This is a melee attack, with an accuracy base of 90, crit mod of 5%, and will do full damage. This will do bonus damage in certain scenarios. If the target is bleeding, it's going to do 30% more damage. If the target is stunned, it will do 5% more crit. If the target is marked, it will do it will have 10 more accuracy. So this is kind of, it's very bounty hunter-y. As you can see, a lot of his moves have the bounty hunter flair, but very, very custom tech to it. But this is definitely like the meat and potatoes. If you were going to be running in either of these conditions, this is a good move to include. And if you really want those crits, you can work on stunned enemies. There are a lot of moves like that I've been covering as of late. But I think my favorite way to use this move is to go out with the bleeding comp and just do a bunch of damage, taking people out. I find that is the most fun for me. The third combat skill, Cape Stun, is usable from rank 1 or 2, and can target rank 1, 2, or 3 opponents. This is a melee attack with an accuracy base of 90, a damage modifier of negative 100%, and this has no crit modifier. This will stun the target with 100% base, and debuff that target -4 speed, also with 100% base. That speed debuff is rather brutal, because it is not going to slow down its growth by much. At top level, -6 speed is pretty good. But you're going to give lots of opportunities for people to follow up your stun, regardless of your turn order, because you're also lowering their speed. So their second turn after being stunned, presumably, they are going to act very late in the round compared to their original initiative markers. So I think this is a very good stun, and it's a very good setup stun if you want to use visceral attacks from some of the hunters in the game, or if you want to use Bounty Hunter and kind of make sense of that stun through that. The fourth combat skill here is Revenge Will. This is usable from any rank and targets himself. This will move the Owlwing forward 1 rank. You are going to activate Riposte on yourself. The Riposte is going to give you a plus 2% crit with each of those, and it'll do -40% damage by default. This will also add Dodge. It'll add 4 Dodge, which will grow as you level up. It will mark yourself as a target, and it will de-stealth you, just in case you are thinking to combo it with Smoke Bomb. It will end your plus 10% crit bonus. This is an alternative way to run. If you do not want to run Smoke Bomb, if you don't want to run Stealth, you have the option of running out in the open and just riposting everything under the sun. The riposte is going to last a decent amount of time with this move. If I remember right, it's actually 3 rounds, not pretend 3 rounds, but we'll probably explore that here in a bit. The fifth combat skill is Quickfire Hook. This is usable from rank 1, 2, or 3, and can target rank 3 or 4 enemies. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 90, a damage modifier of negative 80%, and no crit modifier. This is going to pull the target 2 ranks forward with 100% base, and this will mark the target. This is very comparable, again, to the Bounty Hunters kind of hook and slice, I believe it's called, move. It's very good for yanking problematic people forward, or even just setting a mark, and the bonus here is, if you can benefit from both, it does both. So this is a very high-tech move. I like to use it in his kits a lot, but it's not... I find I do a lot of fist fighting and cape stunning, and this is kind of a tertiary kind of move in my comps, often. The sixth combat skill is Owlwing Scratch. You can use this move from rank 1, 2, or 3, and target rank 1 or 2 opponents. This is a melee attack that will move the Owlwing forward 1 rank. It has an accuracy base of 90, damage modifier of negative 50%, and will have no crit modifier. This is going to inflict bleed on the target with 100% base for 2 points a round for the next 3 rounds. It will inflict an additional 66% bleed amount versus marked targets, and it will have a bonus 10% crit versus marked targets. This will also debuff the target for minus 10 accuracy with 100% base. So if at the time of using this move on one of those targets they are marked, you are going to get bonus 66% damage inflicted by your bleed and a bonus to crit. So this is a good follow-up move to somebody who's going to get marked. If you want to run with that kind of a comp, this is not a bad way to do that. You're going to find that the mesh here between damage dealt and bleed damage over time is actually pretty potent, because you're going to do 50% damage with the actual attack itself, and you're going to be inflicting bleed over time. If you're going to supplant that 2 points a round for 3 rounds, and aim for marked targets, you're going to find very high bleed potency out of this. And the seventh combat skill is Owlwing, which is totally not a ripoff of the Batarang. It is usable from rank 2, 3, or 4, and can target rank 2, 3, or 4 opponents. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 85, a damage modifier of negative 30%, and a crit mod of plus 5.5%. This is going to inflict bleed on the target with 100% base. The bleed is only 1 point a round for 2 rounds at this level, and it will have a chance to shuffle that target for 2 rounds with 100% base. This is going to do an additional 50% damage against marked targets. So very similarly to the Owlwing Scratch, this is a ranged bleed setter that will also do bonus damage against marked targets. You'll find that this is actually really potent, because you're doing about 70% of your base damage when you hit somebody with the Owlwing, and if they're marked, you're actually going to do more like 120% of your damage against them, and that's actually pretty good. It's pretty potent.
Press this advantage.
Alright, let's go real quickly through the camping skills. The Owlwing has the generic Encourage, Wound Care, and Pep Talk, as you would expect from many of these classes. And the first unique camping skill he's got is Emergency Supplies. It's a time cost 1 camping skill, and you are going to produce a random supply item. We're talking torches, food, etc., and give it to the party. This can be used 3 times per camp, and if you are low on something that you need, if you need food, or if you need torches or the like. This is not a bad way to maybe randomly find what you're looking for. You can also, I believe, get shovels this way. I believe it counts as a supply item in that way. So it's not a bad way to do that either, but don't count on necessarily rescuing you from not having those things. It is indeed random. The second camping skill is Sidekick Training. It's a time cost 4 camping skill that you will select a ally, and both the Owlwing and that ally will receive some bonuses for sparring. You're going to get plus 15% damage, plus 5% crit, and plus 10 dodge for the next 4 battles on both those targets. So this is a good offensive and defensive buff to give 2 party members for the next 4 rounds. Third camping skill is Bind Up. It is a time cost 3 camping skill. You're going to target yourself. You're going to heal 25% of the Owlwing's HP, remove Bleed and Blight, and with a 75% chance, you will remove Disease. So this is just like Batman will say, even though there's no reason for me to be saying Batman. The Owlwing is very good at looking after himself. He's used to being the lone wolf, so to speak. He's used to patching up his own wounds and getting into trouble and whatnot. So this is kind of a very flavorful camping skill, and it's actually very good. When you need this, it can be very useful, and the fact that he can remove disease on himself, I think only the Plague Doctor can remove disease on themselves, so it's pretty good tech for the Owlwing to have as well. And the final camping skill we're going to run over here is the Night Watcher. It is a time cost 4 camping skill. This will allow the Owlwing to prevent nighttime ambush, which is irreplaceable, and it's going to give a couple of buffs for the next 4 battles. You're going to receive a minus 20% chance that the party is surprised, which is very good, and a plus 20% scouting chance. This is very good, and it's especially useful during night runs or torchless runs, because that scouting chance is going to help you a lot, and normally the deficit running out in the dark is around, I think, 20%, that you remove 20% from your scouting chance. But in this case, getting that 20% back and also having the minus 20% chance party surprise for the next 4 battles is actually really, really good. And you can use it in the light or the dark, but it will probably save your ass in dark runs. So briefly, let's look at the Owlwing's crit effect. He is going to receive dodge on crit, and uniquely, he only receives the dodge bonus of, I believe it's 10, for 2 rounds rather than 3, because he's already got such great dodge and ways to supplant it in his own moveset and trinkets that it seems to me they assumed the balancing point was a little shorter on that crit threat. So a dodge bonus for 2 rounds is not bad. Now, as far as party compositions go, briefly, he's obviously going to benefit a lot from comps that can give him these situational buffs more often. Like, for instance, Fistfight here. If you're running out with a bleed comp, this is very, very powerful. If you are running out with a lot of people who can stun, you can get a lot of crits out of this. And if you really want those crits, this isn't a better way. There isn't a better way to do it other than just run out with Smoke Bomb and get that bonus. Otherwise, he is a good stunner, so any party that would benefit from that, and either removing himself as a target through stealth, or becoming a riposte target, can be irreplaceable to a lot of groups, so that's very handy as well. Anyone who benefits from, pulling people forward or whatnot. Keep in mind there are a couple, I think half of his moves move him around by 1 rank. Keep that in mind and have a malleable party formation, just because you don't want to be taking other party members out of their desired ranks willy-nilly, unless that is something you are planned to accommodate for. So, the other thing to think about here is quirks. I think the things that you are going to gain the most out of by focusing on through quirks are going to be things like dodge or prot. You'll probably pick one based on how you want to run the Owlwing, or damage or crit. So if you feel like you can determine whether you're going to use melee or ranged, like if you're going to use a lot of melee attacks, Precise Striker is a very good move to throw on him. I believe my level 5 one has Precise Striker for that exact purpose. And if you're going to use a lot of ranged attacks, try the opposite. And otherwise, things like Corbin's Grace and Luminous will be very, very good. Hard-skinned if you want to go for the prot. But otherwise, I think the best way to supplant and add to his damage is to choose a light condition, because he has very equally divided melee and ranged attacks. So I find it's actually going to be easier to determine for yourself if you're going to run out with this class in dark runs, or if you're going to run out with the torch. So Warrior of Light will be irreplaceable, and it will help all your skills, and Lurker will help in the opposite condition of the dark. So real quick, let's look at the trinkets. I believe I have it open to the right. Yes, I do. Awesome. We're going to start with the Crystal Toxicant. This is the Calm Trinket for the Owlwing. It's going to reduce his damage by minus 20%. And you're going to receive buffs for Smoke Bomb, Oculi Scratch, and Owlwing. When you hit with these attacks, the target is going to suffer Blight at 120% for 3 points a round for the next 2 rounds. So, Smoke Bomb hits both the front guys. This is not a bad way to get a double Blight in the front ranks. And 3 points a round is not super potent, but it is definitely enough to be an impact in the combat. And it's also, switching him over to adding Blight to things is actually pretty potent, especially if you're going to run with a team comp that gets bonus damage against Blighted. You're going to find a huge bonus from this kind of a trinket. The next one we're going to run over is the Anti-Husk Frequency. This is the very rare trinket for the Owlwing. It's going to give a bonus 20% damage versus husks. You're going to receive a bonus armor piercing for 20% versus those husks, and a minus 7% crit in exchange, and a minus 25% blight resistance. And this is a pair with the heavy armor suit, and if you're equipping both, you are also gonna receive other things. Minus 20% damage received when attacked by a husk, and minus 25% received horror amount in the farmstead. So this is a very farmstead and husk themed trinket, and this one is very survivable, you'll find. So he's going to be an interesting choice for the endless runs. And another very rare trinket here, the matching pair, is the heavy armor suit. It is going to give a bonus plus 40% prot, plus 15% to stun and move resistance. This is in exchange from losing 5 speed and losing 40 dodge. Smoke Bomb will be disabled if you are wearing this trinket, so stealth is kind of out of the question if you were running this kind of a comp. And that's probably just because the minus 40 dodge needed to be drilled home. It needed to be a set negative that you can't really work around, and that is the easiest way to do so. We're going to run to the rare trinket here, Wanted Posters. It's going to give you a plus 25% damage versus marked targets, plus 5% crit versus marked targets, and a minus 40% damage versus not marked targets. So if you were going to be running out with a marked comp and running off of that primarily, this is not a bad thing to put on your Owlwing. Keep in mind, though, that you do not want to be wasting your time hitting non-marked targets if you are wearing this trinket, because it is going to pretty significantly nerf your damage. The uncommon trinket here is the Heavy Hook. This is going to change Quickfire Hook to do a bonus 40% more damage, which is pretty potent, I'm not going to lie, and a plus 10% move skill chance for the Owlwing. What does that 40% damage bring you to? Quickfire. Alright, that's going to bring you to negative 40%, so basically 60% of your actual damage done with just a move skill that also marks the target. So this is really potent. If you plan on pulling people and marking them, this is not a bad way to do that, because you can get a lot of actual damage out of it as well. And the final one that I have here, before we go over the one I have equipped, is the adjustable goggles. This is the common trinket. It's going to give you plus 10% scouting chance at the cost of -1 speed. Let's see briefly. The one I have equipped on here is another rare trinket. It's the Blade Feather. It's going to subtract 2 from your speed. It's going to change how Cape Stun works. When Cape Stun hits, the target is going to take a bleed at 140%, 3 points a round for 2 rounds. And if the hero was hit, meaning the Owlwing, it is going to inflict bleed 140%, 2 points a round for 2 rounds. So this is not a bad bleed setting trinket, especially if you're going to be using Cape Stun in the first place. So I find that I will probably take this out and check it out. I've never really ran with it all that much. Other than that, I'm just running with the standard camouflage cloak, and we're going to see what kind of moveset I can get used in the meantime. So we're going to run into just probably here, I imagine. It's not the longest quest, and it's not a boss quest, so I won't regret taking it. Alright, and we'll see what we can do with this party.
Even the fiercest beast will lay down when it is not eaten.
Alright.
Steal their food.
Let's show a couple of battles here in succession. Kind of show how he operates a little bit. The primary idea of this party is to have a bleed comp to show him off in. Oh wow, we need to go farther than I wanted for 3 combats. Okay.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Gotta get this one real quick and then we're gonna go down here. Oh man, it's empty. Oh my god. Now we're gonna turn back, I guess. Are you trappy? You're a trappy. Oh god. Nice loading stuff. Yep. Alright, this party should be pretty straightforward. We are gonna... I think I'll be able to go first, right? At 10 speed. Yeah, you're good. I'm gonna stun this one. Then I'm going to hit bleed on everybody. Okay, we got 2 people to land that bleed on. We got a stunned guy. So we could run fist fight and do a bunch of damage to bleeding target number 3. I think that's what I'm going to do. 14 to 25 damage. Let's do this. And the crit. Hell yeah. Alright. Stun the back rank. That bleed is pretty potent when the Duchess has her way. Okay, let's hit bleed on these 2. See if I can stack on some more damage. Okay, we're going to hit Crimson Lance on you. Did not inflict a bleed. It's kind of what I wanted, was to options. 10 options, he says. I can stun rank 3, so I'm going to stun you. With a good stun, I set the bleed, which is what that trinket does. It's very happy for me. I don't really need the heal, but I'm going to do it. Buy on more turns for the Owlwing. got the stun. I got the stun, yo. So I should be rolling with the other noxious bomb, but I'm not. Let's kill you.
Surges as the enemy
The
crumbles.
bleeding. Ooh, lunch. The Duchess loves
Great
lunch.
is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, we did not get his third turn, unfortunately. But it's not who I selected, jerk. We did use Fistfight and Cape Stun, so we're gonna try and run with these two and get an opportunity to use those. Oh shit, I'm turning around. Yeah, I'm not going all the way over there for one fight. Not doing it, man. So down here. Alright, 2 targets. Not bad. Well, we are going to I'm going to mark with you. Or instead just gonna do this. Got the blood on everybody. Okay. I don't have a mark, so let's try to do this first. Quick fire hook, pull you forward. I got the mark on you now. I can't stun him in the very front, which is unfortunate. Let's bleed out this guy some more. Ugh. Stop debuffing me, yo. Alright, can do this. That's fun.
Singular strike.
Now, we have a marked target. I'm gonna hit this so I don't accidentally kill somebody before the Owlwing goes again. See? Almost died. Damn it!
Continue the onslaught.
That riposte fucked me over. I should have just moved.
All.
This party's too potent to show off all his moves. I can't do it. Uh-oh. Good, you didn't hit a riposte target. Okay, so he's not marked. We're into that problem again. We're going to use a Cully Scratch anyway. This would typically be better off if the target was marked. You'd inflict more of a bleed out of it. It's also going to hit that debuff. Pretty potent, I'm not gonna lie. 19 bleed damage. Yikers. Yikers. Get wrecked, big guy.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Alright. Well, I did not get Owlwing. Owlwing, excuse me. Let's see, it likes marks targets too. I'm gonna try and do that. The problem we're gonna run into. Oh, this quest location. It might not even be a fight. Oh, I hope it's a fight. Please be a fight. Otherwise, we're going over here for nothing. There we go. We got a stealth guy too. I have Twilight Dreamer on my Owlwing, so I'll be able to hit that stealth target without a problem. We're gonna probably do that round 1, because no one else can do it. But we'll see how much bleed I land on him. 9, he's dead. He's dead. He just doesn't know he's dead yet. I'm gonna stun the back. Alright. I'm gonna quick fire hook somebody, I think. I'm gonna smoke bomb. Because from back here, I can use Owlwing. None of them are marked, unfortunately. I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you because you're not bleeding.
Press this advantage.
Got that crit.
No quarter.
Yeah, Smoke Bomb is a very good move. The cooldown for 4 rounds is sad, but it's very balanced for that. Alright. Better run this.
The ground quakes.
Ooh, that is a significant chunk of damage. Okay. Got some healing I need to do. That's fine. Leave him alone, man. So you're dead. And you're not. Well, I'm going to... You're bleeding, I'm going to hit you with this fight.
Their formation
Got the crit again.
Maintain the offensive.
Violent end for a violent beast. Gonna hit you with a heal. We're halfway there, and I'm going to just kill you.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Get rid of the citrines because nobody likes them. Alright. Well, there's 3 fights. Keep in mind the Owlwing. Hey, come on now. Stop selecting the other shit, yo. Keep in mind the Owlwing if you have a need for any of this wide array of tech he can bring. He's very potent and he's very useful class to have. Thanks for watching. We have got another Let's Play coming up on Wednesday. I will have another guide coming up on Saturday. Apologies, this is coming out late today. But I just, it's been busy. It's been a very busy weekend. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay frosty.